Hi, good evening. It's good to be back. I've still got a bit of this cold, but it's mostly gone. Tonight, cowardly Starmer ran away from the Casey report. Why is Casey Jones in Canada? I know it's the G7, but I think the industrial scale of the rape of our English girls, white English girls, is pretty important. Donald Trump's gone back to sort out World War III. Starmer should be in this country. How odd that he went away. He had the report 10 days ago. Then he decided he'd still go to the G7. He didn't tell us that he'd got the report, but he obviously knew what was in it. I wrote a tweet earlier today which said this: Starmer is a liar and needs to be removed. He, just like the rest of us, me and you, knew exactly what was going to be in Casey's audit. Kids had been raped on an industrial scale for years by Muslim rape gangs. He did nothing because he's a liberal coward and hates the white working class. I was angry when I wrote this morning. Maybe I'll get put in prison. And then I said, scumbag. What do you think? What do you think? Everything that people have been saying looks like it's true. It looks like it's true. It confirms, if you look at what she's written this weekend, what many survivors, campaigners, big mouths like me, and journalists have been saying for years. British institutions, the police, the social services, children's homes, the political establishment, failed thousands and thousands of children, boys and girls, mainly girls, and they did it knowingly. And the politicians, people like Starmer, covered it up to avoid being called racist. I'll take your comments on this place as well. So in today's live show, I'm going to expose how Keir Starmer and the Labour establishment, and it's got to be said the Conservatives as well, they were in charge before, and lots of people making political football out of this don't, right? They're all as bad as each other, and it just doesn't go back to the beginning of the last Labour government. It's much further than that. I was in a home 50 years ago, best part of 50 years ago, 45 years ago, and it was going on then. I'm telling you, this has been going on for ages, and the establishment don't care. It's just like the Church of England. It's just like the Roman Catholic Church. They don't give an SH1T until it's exposed. The political establishment ducked, delayed, and denied. Now, where Starmer is guilty is that just recently he's done that again. He could have ordered this review that Casey is now going to do, which he now thinks is so important. He could have done that 5 months ago, 6 months ago. But do you remember when they're in the Commons and they all said no? Do you remember the 326 MPs, many of them women, don't forget, a lot of the front bench are women, they all voted against the public. They didn't want a full investigation. They didn't want a public inquiry. Now, all of a sudden, they do. I wonder why. I wonder why. Well, I don't wonder. I know. It's because they're up to their necks in it. The whole of the political establishment. And so then we hear Dame Casey, Casey's views about what she's come out with yesterday and today. However, I'm nervous about her now because she's now backtracking a bit on the line about Pakistanis. Listen, if that's the facts, it's the facts. I've even debated with myself whether I should talk about this here, whether YouTube will take it down. Well, they can't. Really, can they? Because it's in the public domain now. There's been a proper look at this. There is a problem. That doesn't mean that every Pakistani Muslim is a rapist. Of course it doesn't. But the thinking of people like Starmer and the uber liberals is this, and she actually says this in the report, is that if they concentrated on the ethnicity, then there'd be riots. I know I've been ill for a week, but doesn't that kind of resonate with what happened in Southport? Don't tell them anything. Don't tell them your name, Pike. Keeping secrets never works. As Starmer's own terrorism czar has said, it contributes, perhaps, to the riots. Starmer and all this thing about, oh, it was far right, everything far right as far as Starmer is concerned. Donald Trump dropping his papers today, that must have been far right as well. If he comes too early, oh, it's far right. If he comes at all. But you know what I'm trying to say here? I am fuming about this because they could have stopped it, just like they could have stopped the riots in Southport, but no. And so what happened was, and it's not just Starmer and it's not just Labour, none of them wanted to admit that it was a particular community or subsection of a community that was carrying out these heinous acts. And it was white girls predominantly, although white boys as well. And I've got to say this because a few of my Sikh friends have asked me to stress this. This has been happening to the Sikhs for years and years and years. But do you know what the Sikhs did? They took the law into their own hand and went round and gave summary justice to the bastards who were doing it. I'm not suggesting we do that, but I am suggesting that if Starmer carries on like this, the coward that he is, he runs away from the problem, he's bound to have another go at the white working class. Do you know why? Because he hates the white working class. He hates everything about us. And so do most of his front bench. They're a bunch of North London, Islington liberals. They don't like our way of life. They don't like the fact that we like football, booze, and some of us like a fag. Not me, by the way. That's enough of that. I meant a cigarette, of course. It's just a bizarre, bonkers world we're living in. And he is the epitome of woke culture. So he knows what's in the report. He still goes to the G7. He could have spoken about the report last week before the G7. He ran away so that he can't be questioned. And only today, this afternoon, has he done a few set-piece interviews. Not a full-on press conference. He did one with the BBC. He did one with GB News. And then on the GB News one, they said to him, do you regret calling everybody far right? Oh, I wasn't calling the public far right. No. I was talking about some of the opposition parties. He must have been taking lessons in bullshit from that Darren Jones. You know that little pipsqueak who's arrived from nowhere? Actually, I've got to be honest with you. Darren Jones impressed me at first, talking about the economy, when he first got, he's the shadow cabinet something, isn't he? He's one down from Rachel Thieves. I thought, well, he'll make a good replacement for her. But mind you, so would my dog. She's useless, isn't she? That's her petrified in front of the cameras. We'll talk about her later. But going back to Darren Jones was quite good. I thought he could be all right. But then he goes and does the same kind of thing. Slags us off. And lies. He goes on Question Time, and we all watched it, and he lied. And then all the liberals come out to defend him. Oh, no, it's the way it's been edited. No, it isn't. I watched it. I know what he said. We all know what he said. He's another one. He despises the white working class. So in this video today, I'm going to break down what the Casey audit actually says and where it's going to go to, why ethnicity was systematically ignored in the data. They just stopped doing data after a while. When there was too many Pakistanis, we better just stop that. The real reason authorities allowed Pakistani Muslim grooming gangs to operate for years, we'll talk about that as well. And this doesn't do any service to Pakistani Muslims who are having ordered normal lives, like down my local curry house. The boys must be fuming. What politicians, left and right, knew and why they did nothing? Why did 320 odd all vote not to have a public inquiry? They were whipped by Starmer. I'm saying nothing. They were whipped by him to vote that way, but that's no excuse. Get a bloody spine. Get a backbone. You're like amoebas. You're like blancmanges. We elected you to work for us. We didn't elect you to be a slave of any description to Starmer. And so I am calling Starmer out as a coward. He is a coward. Because this story, let me tell you now, my friends, it isn't about race. It's about accountability. It's about fair play. And it's about the removal of two-tier justice. The Casey report, or this initial audit, proves that children, young white girls, were sacrificed on the altar of political correctness to protect reputations. Anyone, left, right, or centre, who tried to bury this scandal should now be called out, and they should be in court. But have you heard the latest? Evidently, MPs, Whitehall, civil servants, and what's the other? There's another blob. The civil servants, they're not going to be questioned, although he's now scrabbling like mad and saying, oh, yes, they will be. Every single person should be able to be called by the police to give a statement and witness in court. This is the biggest sex scandal this country has ever seen. It brings disgrace to us. And because of the way that cowardly Starmer has handled it, this could end up in race riots. I could see this happening now. I had a guy today who I won't name on air, but I respect him immensely. He's a Londoner and he knows about London. He said, John, it's going to kick off any minute now. People just can't stomach what Starmer has done. And the fact, you see, working class people believe that if you fuck up right, you stay and you answer. He's in Canada. And it's not, he's trying to spin, oh, yeah, because I wanted to get the trade deal signed by Trump. That's the one he dropped on the floor. Trump wasn't taking it that seriously, and it's still not a proper trade deal. He ran away from the fallout of the Casey audit report. What the hell is he going to do when the whole thing is printed? And do you agree with me that every single person who had anything to do with this must be in a court of law? Share your views. Let's talk the truth, not political correctness, but please don't be racist because there's no need to. Just let's get going. Let's talk this through if we can. Let's start with a few comments and then I'll come back to the rest of it. Evening, John. See if my little thing's working today. Hold on. Oh, no, picture's gone. Evening, John. I see Smarmer. He's talking about restricting visas on countries who fail to tackle illegals. How about starting a trade and travel ban then on France? Yeah, but it's nonsense, isn't it? Most of these illegals who are coming in, they don't need a fucking visa. They're just coming in at Dover. He even admitted today, oh, yeah, it's getting worse. This bloke is not a leader. He'll never be a leader whilst I've got a hole in my underpants. Let's get rid of him. He's a traitor. He's a monster. And I don't think he cares about the white working class, which is what the Labour Party is meant to support. When I say white, I mean British. Yeah, don't get hung up on that. But I find it immensely immoral what he's doing at the moment. I might be wrong, but Tommy Robinson, when he came out of prison, he had a documentary ready to go on about the police, social workers, MPs, councillors involved in the grooming or the covering up. Yeah, well, he's gone a bit to ground, hasn't he, Carol? I wouldn't put all your eggs in one basket that Tommy's going to solve everything. I'm not against him, and he's been proved right today on lots of things he said, but he's not the saviour. What we need is the political class to listen to ordinary people, don't we? Chopper, MK50 just says yes, so I don't really know what that means, Chopper. Go now, Starmer, says Andrew Cottrell. Thank you. Chopper then says, yes, yay, Gaunty is back. He certainly is. I tell you what, I've been so frustrated because my throat was like having razor blades down it, so I just couldn't talk. Once this bubble is popped, people are going to be shocked how far this cesspit went. I think it goes back to Jimmy Savile. It's a culture, and it's not just Pakistanis. It goes further back than that, let me tell you, Carol. This isn't just, we're concentrating, I don't want to get diverted from that. There is a particular problem with the Pakistani Muslim, a section of them. There is a problem there. But this sexual abuse has gone on for years, you're right, and in all major institutions. But they didn't handle it. It actually says it. I read it. I was up most of the night last night, so I couldn't really breathe. It was so congested. I read all the bits. She actually says people were scared. She talks about one report where they've Tipexed out the word Pakistani. How does this help? I'm not a racist. I've got actually quite a few friends. I've certainly got Indian friends. I've got Pakistani friends as well. But how does it help them if they're decent, solid people? Because they're getting tarred by the same brush. I'll tell you what Keir Starmer is, and I'll tell you now. He's an effing racist. That's what he is. He's anti-working class, and he's a racist. He somehow thinks now that everybody with brown skin is shouting out Ali's snack bar in his perverse way of looking at the world. No, Sir Keir, we can get on. We can all live together. But if you commit a crime, whether you're white, blue, pink, yellow, look like Mr. Blobby, you should do the time. You can't take into consideration. And if you think I'm being over the top here, do you remember the Sentencing Council a few weeks ago? They had a proposal to change sentences if you were black or a woman or gay. And God knows you could probably commit mass murder if you're a tranny. This is ludicrous. Everybody should be treated the same. And one thing I will say, no girls of any race, of any colour, should be sacrificed on the altar of political correctness just so you can go, oh, yeah, I'm really liberal, I'm this, I'm that. And if I hear you once more fucking talk about, well, I was the first person to bring a prosecution. Well, it can't have worked very well, can it, Keir? Because if you were in charge, as you keep saying, and keep reminding us of the, what's it called, Director of Public Prosecutions, you didn't do a very good job, pal, did you? Look at the mess we're in. Oh, I can't be sent back. Why not? Oh, I'm a human rights. Well, what part of human rights? I don't like the chicken nuggets back in Malaysia or wherever they're from, Somaliland. They don't cook them the same way as they cook them down Notting Hill Gate. It's idiots like him who have created this situation. Starmer is everything that is wrong with this country, and Starmer needs removing as quickly as possible. But mostly, he's a coward. He blamed his son for why he was living at Lord Ali's flat. It was all to do with his revision, even though he was living there after the exams finished. I can't remember who he blamed for getting the suits. Ooh, suits you, sir. But what about the Taylor Swift tickets? Or he gave them back. Oh, and then he blamed the working class Arsenal fans for why he couldn't sit in the terraces or in the normal stands. He had to have executive tickets. Like most socialists, they love money, especially other people's money. That's why they love spending so much. That's why when he came to power, he's there, isn't he? He's like Viv Nicholson on Speed, or that dustbin man who won the lottery all the years ago, spending our cash. And then he says, there's a 24 billion pound black hole. Yes, because you dug it. What a pity you didn't dig it and jump in it with Rachel Thieves. You politically correct cowardly clown. Hey, you're meant to be taking it easy with me. Thank you for everyone who's pressing the like button. That's going superb. 17 likes. That's what I like to see. And I must say to you, obviously this week I've not done any videos because I've been so poorly. And loads of people have told me they've had the same thing, this summer cold. It's awful. Anyway, I'm back home, got my studio set up, and I'm back now. But it does mean I'm a bit short, because no one's made any contributions either on here, on YouTube, on Super Chat or Super Sticker. So if you're relieved to see me back, please donate whatever you fancy. Or go to www.buymeacoffee.com/Jon Gaunt and donate anything from a £5 upwards. There's been a few people who have done that while I've been away. I think they thought they were helping Lisa out with the funeral. So thank you for that. But if you can help out, it would really be brilliant. But also, please keep subscribing. And I'm really sorry I haven't been here for the past 4 or 5 days. I'll make it up to you this week. You watch this. What's this one now? Casey herself didn't think there was a need for an inquiry in January. She's now changed her mind. Correctly, Keir didn't jump on the bandwagon. Oh, yeah. But waited for Casey to report. He didn't jump on the bandwagon. Oh, so it was all considered. Yeah, because he's our supreme leader. I'm sorry, I don't swallow that. As the Ukrainian model said to his friend, I just don't. Well, I'm not suggesting anything at all.
I just don't buy that, my friend. He knew what was in the report. I told you, he had it 10 days before. He's changed his mind because he knows if that report had come out today without him saying something, there'd be hell to pay, wouldn't there? If girls were still getting raped, well, they are still getting raped. This is still going on. So he had to do what he did. I just think it's nonsense, Tony. And please get your head out of your arse and see that. Oh, hang on, he's back. In the meantime, Labour were implementing the previous inquiry's recommendations. Again, you are rewriting history. That isn't what was happening. And the previous inquiry, there's about 4 pages on sexual abuse of children by these gangs, organised gangs. Do you understand how it was working? It wasn't just like loads of lads in Coventry raping a particular girl from a children's home. They were then trafficking her to other cities. There was a whole network of these filthy paedophile bastards doing this. I don't care whether they're Muslim. I wouldn't care if they were bloody Muhammad himself. They shouldn't have been doing it. And they need the full weight of the law down on them. And then Pakistan, have you heard this bit? They turned around and said, oh, if you allow us to fly our dodgy planes back into Britain, we'll take back these scumbags. What? I'd say we don't compromise with filthy regimes like yours, sunshine. No way, Jose or Imran or whoever's running the bloody country at the moment. I just think all of this is so disgusting. Kevin Cunning, thank you, my friend. Look at this. Kevin's a top man. He's just donated £9.99, a tenner. Here he is. There he is. Look, he's got a green super sticker. He's done it on YouTube. Thank you, Kevin. I know you've been concerned about me. You wrote me a few little tweets, didn't you? So thank you very much indeed. That's very kind of you. Very, very kind of you. If you'd like to donate, just go to Super Sticker, go to one of those things and press the button, as much as you can afford. Roy Clark reposted this stream. Did you, Roy? Thank you, my friend. Send it out to as many people as you can. Don't forget, though, to subscribe to my channel, Jon Gaunt TV on YouTube. Yes, I totally agree, John. All should be prosecuted. Anybody who has held out. Carol, I haven't got time for your moaning, love. Send me an email and I'll have a look at it. Things like that happen sometimes. It's called the internet. I corrupt bent lawyer all the way. What do you mean one corrupt bent lawyer all the way? I don't know if he's bent in any way, shape or form. I don't, let's be careful. Let's just be careful. If you meant crooked, I'm sure Sir Keir Starmer isn't a crook. Absolutely, John. A grooming gang is a grooming gang, whatever race, and the law is the law. Thank you very much indeed, Dave Townsley. I think that's a brilliant comment to make. So, where are you? What are you going to say about all this? Can you still see me? Because my screen's gone blank again. I'm going to have to speak to the people who do my streaming and ask what this is, what causes that. I was disgusted by Jess Phillips laughing in the Commons when the report was being mentioned. Yeah, I saw that as well. She's a weird. I can't make my mind up because she has done loads for women's rights, but she nearly lost her seat in this election to some mad Muslim geezer who's got a separatist party. And that's the other thing that's happening. Because he does things like this, he gives them more power. So then we're going to get sectarian, religious voting. I don't want to live in a country like that. I want to be able to go to the pub, have a row with somebody over politics, and at the end of it, talk about something else or talk about a football and still be mates. Don't you? Don't you? Isn't that the way we're meant to live? Ted Collins says, more political prisoners held longer than the real criminals. I know what you mean, my friend. Okay, let's get back to my agenda just for a moment, if you don't mind. I was talking about how this has all come about. What does the Casey audit actually say? Well, it clearly says it's been going on an industrial scale. It clearly says Pakistani Muslim guys, there have been some of them involved. It also clears up this thing about, oh, most paedophiles are white, and says that information, I think it's from 2020, was incorrect. It also says the police were hiding and then stopped checking the data. I thought every time you got arrested, I remember doing this on BBC London years ago. Every time they had it was 14 pages. They had to fill out this form. And that was all about your ethnicity. So how come that wasn't being used? How can you run a police force or a prosecution service or a government without a real audit? You can't. You can't. And it does all this tie into what we've all thought for a long time. There's a two-tier policing system in this country and two-tier justice. We all thought that after Southport. It now looks like it's happened again for years. Not just Starmer, but previous governments as well. Treading on eggshells around certain communities. But why the Muslim community? Why not the Sikh community? Law-abiding, well-behaved people? Or the Hindus, who, as you know, I've got some of them in my extended family. No problem. I'm going to say it. I shouldn't really say it. This is where I get closed down. But in the Muslim community, there have been people who have said they're Muslim and then said Ali Akbar and try to kill us. Hasn't there? How are they getting treated with kid gloves? I'm not saying we should stop being prejudiced towards them. Of course not. I'm just asking for an equal playing field. And these politicians, they're in a class of their own, which is why I say they're all self-serving pigs. They're all the same, effectively. Whether they're left or right, they all knew. They all must have all known. And they did nothing. And as for the 326 who refused the public inquiry, every single one of them should resign. I note not one has done so far. And Starmer, well, he's a coward because he runs off, doesn't he? Right. All councillors, public sector employees, police and judiciary who attended DEI common purpose indoctrination courses should be thoroughly investigated. Well, Gruner, have you got enough time to do that? I told you about this. My wife was one of the first people in the country to do common purpose. When we had our theatre and our theatre company, she got approached, would you like to do this? And she did some interesting things. She went to Long Lartin prison, and it was about mixing people from the public sector, the private sector together, so you got more experience. The actual basic premise of common purpose, and Coventry was the test area, was a good idea, in my opinion. Get people to mix, get people to understand. And then they did have Muslims and other communities and Jewish people. She went to a synagogue and all that. And it was good. But it's morphed into something completely different now. Did you know you can't get higher than a sergeant in the police unless you've been on a common purpose course? This is why they all want bloody rainbow laces. And they all want to skateboard on Tower Bridge with the Stop Oil people. Hey, I haven't had a chance to talk about this because I've been poorly. Greta Thunberg, how funny was that? And how funny that they put at the back of the play, they said to back, hey, see, that's it, isn't it, with Jewish people? They've got a brilliant sense of humour. And they have. They obviously will take the piss out of her when we send them back from Israel. This is how we'll do it. Put her in the back of the plane, near the engines. Talking of planes, that thing in India. Oh, my God. How awful was that? Huh? Liam Bream says, bring back the gallows. Thank you, my friend. Richard Nunny says, hello from Mallorca, John. Ashamed to be flying back to a once great country. Well, don't be ashamed. It's just a few people who are trying to ruin it. Unfortunately, they run the government. Running out of comments now. If you want to be trying to get on all night, try now, because I'm finishing in about 2 or 3 minutes' time. Thank you for your contributions. Thanks for waiting for me to get back. What are we going to do about this? People keep saying to me, well, we can't get rid of Starmer. He's here for the next 40 years or 4 years. No, there's got to be a way. Carol Walker says, Jess Phillips is scared to lose her Muslim voters because she was so close to losing her seat last time. You're right, Carol. But I don't think it's just her. I think it's lots of other people as well. And I think that's what Labour have been doing. They've been appealing to that group. But then where have the Tories been? You know, and Kemi yesterday, I've got to say this as well. I thought her performance was good, but I thought it was the wrong subject to be so aggressive on. But she's not the only one. They're all using it as a political football. I got so sick of TV this morning, the TV news programs. I had to turn it off because they're all going, oh, yeah, but we did this in 1823 and we did this in 1940. We did this. We're Labour. We're the Tories. We're the other. Shut the F up. Young white girls have been getting raped and sexually abused, and not just raped with, I won't go into the details, but you can see what the details are. Can't you just leave the tribal politics for a day? The lefties didn't know what to say. Twitter was quite empty till about 12 when they suddenly thought of an angle to come at. Why do you have to do that? Look, clearly Starmer didn't want a public inquiry. He didn't want it. And he whipped his party to not get it. Then he gets Louise Casey, and I've seen her on the tennis today. She's 1,000% uber liberal, right? She's a lefty. But so I don't think he expected her to write what she wrote. And then, of course, the press have picked up on the bits that they want. And so then today she's been on the telly trying to soften what she said. Don't soften anything, love. Just say what you feel. Just tell the truth. There's not enough truth at the moment in British politics. Yes? And no, why can't we just all live together? We used to before 9/11. And I think before 9/11, we didn't give special privileges to one community over another. Clearly, people, just like the trans issue, people do not want this woke shit that they're pushing on us. Why don't politicians understand that and just get on with governing the country? Make our economy stronger. Look after us all. And the first duty of all governments is the protection of its citizens. And by that, I mean every citizen. Every single citizen. You're meant to be looking after, Starmer. But you've gone to Canada. But you've looked stupid because Trump only stayed for a day and he's gone home again. Oh, and by the way, just in case you're wondering, I fully support Israel. Iran, the Iranian regime, needs wiping off the face of the earth, not the people. We used to have loads of Iranians in Coventry when I was growing up, because when the Shah, the Shah, wasn't it? When he was in charge, they did loads of work at the Peugeot and Jag. And we had loads of Iraqis as well. But we don't want these Muslim fundamentalist countries where women are treated like that, do we? By the way, I'm not proposing regime change, but I think tonight Trump's going to push the button, isn't he? And so that might be the end of that problem, hopefully. Do you have, let me just finish on this note, and you can tell me later on YouTube, you can send comments in afterwards. Do you believe that anything will change? Do you believe that things will be better after this Casey review? Because it's got to be quick as well. It can't be like 10 years down the line, can it? Because by then we'll all be wearing bloody burqas, rainbow coloured ones. Because you not only have to be a Muslim, you'll have to be trans as well, gay. Or I'm only half joking. I'm only half joking. Can't we just get on with how we used to be? All rubbing up against each other and everything hunky. Not in that way, Sakir. And while I'm on the subject, Sakir, what's happened about the Ukrainian boys? How come that court case is taking so long? It's very odd. Oh, and did you see him when he was on the plane? He was opening his Father's Day's card. I made a great joke. I'll see if I can get away with this time. He had two. I said, look, for my kids. I said, where's the third one? Evening, Steve. What's Steve saying? Evening, John. Glad you're back. Time for justice and proper justice. Send them to prison for life. Our system is broke and a joke, and Starmer will never do anything as he's got no backbone. Well, I've got to agree with that. Absolutely zero backbone. And I love the way he brags about being the director of public prosecutions as if he was a raging success. The only thing I ever see about that was that the Jimmy Savile thing when people talk about it. I mean, I don't know whether it's true or not, but the Crown Prosecution Service isn't exactly something that I would brag about. Oh, yeah, I got that working right. Well, it don't work right, does it? Because it lets out people and it doesn't send them down for long enough and doesn't do what the British public want. By the way, is he still releasing prisoners so he can put more housewives in? I'm being a bit out of the loop because I had this fever. Oh, man, alive. Some days I just couldn't even concentrate. But I'm back. And I'm going to be keeping on his back. But somebody said to me, you having a go at Starmer again tonight? I said, yep. And they said, why not? I said, well, when I worked in the tabloids, one of the first lessons I learned was if you get somebody on the ropes, you keep punching. I want him out. This isn't the BBC. This isn't the BBC. I don't have to pretend I'm impartial. I'm not. I want him out. But there's the catch. I don't want Kemi in. I don't want the Tories in. And I don't particularly want Nigel either, although he's the best of a bad bunch at the moment. I'm hoping something else, like a phoenix. Like our city. Coventry is represented by a phoenix, right? Will rise from the ashes of this shite democracy we've got at the moment and give us a new way forward. That's what I'd like. That's what I'd like. I don't know whether it's going to happen, but we'll try. Right, Carol Walker says, keep punching, honey. Thank you. I've been drinking honey, to be honest with you, for my throat. It's giving up now. Right, thank you very much. That's me done. If you'd like to join me again tomorrow, 6:30, same time, plenty more to talk about. I'm absolutely positive. If you do like what I'm doing, you still got time to do a super chat or a super sticker and donate money via YouTube. It all goes to keep this going. Or alternatively, you could go to www.buymeacoffee.com/Jon Gaunt and donate anything from a £5 onwards. Graham Eardley, good old friend of mine from the Bruges Group, he's just said on here, I've just reposted this stream. Thank you. In fact, I will encourage more people to do that next time we're on, because that gets the numbers up. And it's all about getting the numbers up, the algorithm up, and therefore, 29 likes. Surely we can get 30, but 29 likes. It's all going to help this channel take off. Oh, now while I was ill, I'm just going to let you into a bit of housekeeping. I've made a list, started to make a list of all the people I want to have as guests. And I've decided how I'm going to do it in the early days. I'm going to still do my regular 6:30 show, but I'm going to pop in some set piece interviews with people, who I know through my contacts and I'm sure will be interested. The only criteria is they've got to be interested. And I'm hopefully going to start that a week on Monday. But I'm not going to expose them to you lot, so they won't be part of the main show. They'll be set piece interviews, which I might then play in to the main show. But they won't be live, if you know what I mean, because I want to make sure all the technology works first. So that's what I'm hoping to do from a week on Monday. I've already asked a few people, and they've all said, "Oh, Gaunty, where you been?" I said, "You're not been listening then." I said, and they want to do it. Quite a few people want to do it, and some interesting people. I'd like to do some interesting chats where, it isn't just 10 minutes or 20 minutes. It's as long as it needs to be. So I want to do some of them. Nigel Gordon says, "John, I'm available." Yeah, but no thanks. But you know what I mean? I want to do some interesting interviews. Could you get David Lammy on as a guest? Says Chopper. Chopper, I'd love to. I'd love to. I'd absolutely destroy the fat-faced Jaffa cake gorging moron. I always thought I had a birthmark on my ass. Turns out it was a cigar burn. How's about that then? No, I dropped myself in there. Yeah, very good joke, Gruner. Thank you very much indeed. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing. So if you want to help donate to stuff like that, please do. buymeacoffee.com/Jon Gaunt, or do a super chat or a super sticker on here. Tell everyone I'm back. My throat is really giving up now. And I will be back tomorrow at 6:30. Until then, if you've got live, you can always watch it later. If you've got kids, give them a kiss. Give them a hug. And don't forget to tell them you love them. It's been great to be back talking to you. Thank you so much. Cheers.